Well, hey, I didn't see you there. My name is Cameron Dunn, and I am a student studying my passion for visual arts. Just recently, I found this technological innovation that kind of just shocked the art world. AI art. Now, before I think about switching majors for the third time, I think it's important to just take a step back and look at this developing technology. See whether it's spelling doom for the art world, or if it's blown out of proportion and it's just nothing. To answer this question, I believe we need to interview some people. So before we do any of that, I feel like we have to get what I think first. So basically, I'm just going to be trying out the most popular one, which is DALL-E 2. Wait, this looks pretty real, I'm not gonna lie. This looks pretty good. Interesting. Let's try making one. Okay, so it came up with different styles. It came up with like a sketch kind of style, and then it came up with like a watercolor-ish kind of acrylic style. And it also came up with some pretty like artistic styles. These actually look very real in the sense it's like children's kind of paintings, you know, like kindergarten. Here, I'm seeing like a fake discrepancy. Let's try another one here. This is a little more abstract. Okay, well this one's the main kind of thing I was looking for, but it came up with like a carrot giant as well. This is really weird. A giant carrot. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of that's pretty fun to use. I think we're pretty early in the AI art development stage where it was pretty easy to distinguish what was the prompts generated from real art. So I think we're safe on that front. Enough about what I think. I think we should go to what the people think. Right now, I'm at the University of Waterloo campus, here to interview a very important guest, someone who is more than qualified to talk about this subject. It was rather easy to get in touch with this person, but nonetheless, they should be here about any minute now. Let's just get straight into the interview here. ChatGPT. AI tools represent a fascinating and rapidly evolving field with many potential benefits for the art world, from enhancing creativity and innovation to making art more accessible and facilitating collaboration. AI tools have the potential to transform the way we think about and create art. However, it is important to consider potential downsides and ethical implications of AI art or generated art, such as the risk of devaluing the role of human artists or the potential for AI-generated art to lack emotional depth and complexity of human-created art. Who cares what a robot thinks about its brothers and sisters? I want human perspective on this subject. We need to know what the main perceivers, the main consumers think about art. Can they differentiate AI art from human art? Then can we come closer to answering this question whether, you know, there's hope for the art world.
One.
This one.
The second one.
The second one.
The second.
The first one.
Your number one.
First picture.
So we got what viewers think of the art. Now I think it's important to get the other side of the coin, which would be the artists. So I want to know what the artists think, whether they see it a lot in the workspace, whether they hate it or like it. So me and my friends, who are also in the same circumstance, have kind of gathered some interviews to see what artists think around the area.
I haven't had a lot of exposure to AI myself. It's affecting us in ways we maybe don't know or don't realize sometimes. I work at an agency, a design agency, and other people started kind of talking about these different softwares and different platforms. And in my specific workspace, other than ChatGPT, I wouldn't say it's super common yet. Although there are tools and plugins within Photoshop, for example, where I would say in some ways it is AI already. It's filtering its way in with certain tools. It would be ignorant of us to believe that AI can't do just as good a job, if not better, than what we can. The only thing that I think it does lack is a soul. Some of those interesting elements that us as humans have, such as like mystery and nostalgia. The idea of a story gets lost in AI sometimes. We are still the heartbeat behind what's being created. That will probably change, and those lines will probably start crossing more and more as platforms become a lot more intelligent and learn a lot more of our processes, and as we pour more information into it. But I think that'll take a couple of years. So at this point, it's decent, but it's not perfect.
I have been using artificial intelligence, coming up with outlines, coming up with content for websites. So I see it changing very quickly in the next maybe even few months. I would be nervous if I was starting out as an artist right now. We're gonna have to change the way we think and maybe change the application. At the same time, I don't think we can expect to just close our eyes and put our heads in the sand and say, we'll keep doing things the way we've always done them, and we don't like AI and we're not gonna do it. So I think we have to kind of see it in the same way now and be really creative about how we do things.
It seems that artists are fairly loyal to their medium. They stick with their guns and they go right through with it. They show maybe mild interest in using AI art tools, seeing it as imaginary tools or creative tools. You know, all this talk about AI art makes me want to use some for assignments. Maybe I can subtly use some and get away with it, or would this be considered cheating?
Generally, like the real impact of AI, we're still at really early days with it, so it's emerging technology. The average person doesn't know how it's going to look, and like there's always kind of waves when there's new technology on how much it becomes part of our life. And so there's a lot that we have yet to really like know how it's going to really change our lives. But at the same time, we often could overlook and say that we don't see it very much, when really we're interacting with AI all the time with our phone. I think we're going to be using it more explicitly. And then I think there's going to be an implicit thing where a lot of us interact with it more and more without even realizing it. I think in many sort of layered ways, I'm going to definitely be interacting with it more, and my students are, and just like any new technology, there are things to be considered.
Whew, what an eventful day. We had quite a bit of different perspectives that we talked to today, all very valuable perspectives to kind of answer the question I set out at the beginning of this journey. To answer the question from today's interviews, no, AI art doesn't really have that much of an effect on today's art industry. AI art has been kind of discussed through many works of fiction. Generally, why a lot of people are scared about AI, they compare it to that. But I think this kind of emerging technology in AI is more comparable to things like the transition from oil painting to photography, or what we all know, the internet. I believe that answers my question. I'm satisfied, and I hope everyone else is too.